To explain the true nature of time, I like to use the metaphor of music. When it comes to music, knowing the duration of a song has limited usefulness. But if you want to make music, it really helps to know the time of a song. In fact, you need to know the time of the song, which is expressed as a frequency. Time is a frequency, in this case expressed as beats per measure. And if you want to participate in the music, you need to know this frequency. And then you can play along, sing, dance, participate however you want. And in this case, time as a frequency is the resonant structure which organizes the creative experience. I'm going to say that again. Time as a frequency is the resonant structure which organizes our creative experience. Now, it's a resonant structure because it's certainly a structure, but not one that you can go and grab in your hand. Yet, at the same time, it holds the entire musical experience together. It is actually the center point from which the creative experience is unfolding. Yes, time is the center point from which the creative experience is unfolding and harmonizing all of those who are involved. And now this is very important because if you're not in harmony, the song is not going to be very beautiful or enjoyable for anyone. But if you're in the right frequency, then magic can occur. Now, let's expand this metaphor out to our global creative experience. Many of us are trying to have the beautiful experience that we feel life can be. And on the world stage, what's being played out feels not beautiful or enjoyable. Why is that? Why? Because humanity is on the wrong time. Humanity is not in harmony with the song that's already being played. Nature has a song. Nature is moving to a frequency, to a rhythm, and we are out of sync with it. And the more we're out of sync with it, the more it's going to feel disharmonious. You see, we're using a 12-month man-made calendar that's completely out of sync with nature. And that calendar is basically creating a cacophony in our psyche because we are nature. We are meant to be in harmony with the rhythms of nature. We are one with nature, but we have this artificial frequency that we are living on and living within. And it is the frequency, this man-made frequency is the center point of our creative experience on Earth. It is the center point from which our human experience is unfolding, and it's creating this disharmony in our minds, and that is playing out as disharmony and cacophony in the physical world. So, how do we get back to being in harmony? Well, the truth is, we already figured it out. For thousands of years, indigenous cultures all over the world followed a 13-moon, 28-day calendar. And it wasn't until the church in Europe, centuries ago, brought their calendar around to the world that it became widely used. But until then, indigenous cultures had already figured it out. They could see the 13 moons of the year, and they had a natural rhythm and harmony with nature, and they were in sync. But what happened is the church sent out ships all over the world, and it's not something I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about. There's a lot of information you can find out there to tell the truth of the injustice and inhumanity of that whole thing. But that's how the calendar became the global standard, is through violence and subjugation of indigenous cultures all over the world. And in that process, so many beautiful cultural calendars were lost or destroyed. And the interesting thing is, in 1933, the League of Nations actually voted to make a 13-month, 28-day calendar the new world standard. But the church created so much opposition to this idea that it was actually never implemented. But now, in a new millennium, there is a resurgence of energy to realign our world calendar with the harmonic standard of nature, because we have become such a technologically advanced culture, and yet the calendar we use, the instrument that we use to organize our experience here on Earth, is technologically on par with the plague. Our calendar system was last updated in the 16th century, and it's important to note that at that time, it was actually considered heresy to not believe that the Earth was the center of the universe. That's the mentality at the roots of the 12-month calendar. You could actually be put in prison if you believed that the Earth revolved around the sun, even though science at the time had already proven this to be true. And this, I think, is the most important point, that regardless of the knowledge available to them at the time, Scripture still overrode science. Fact had to take a backseat to faith. And why this is so important is because as long as we continue to use the 12-month calendar as our calendar, this remains true. Scripture is still overriding science because there are 13 moons per year, not 12. There should be 13 months per year, not 12. 12 is absolutely arbitrarily made up by mankind. So, if we want to actually evolve ourselves and get out of this historic gridlock, we need to actually advance our calendar. Otherwise, we're basically still trapped consciously in the Middle Ages. So, if we want to be a highly evolved species, if we wish to accelerate our mental and spiritual evolution, we need to upgrade our operating system. We need new software. And we don't need to wait for the rest of the world to make that change. Each one of us has the power to upgrade the operating system of our consciousness right now. In fact, you could go to our website and find an abundance of resources to help you make that shift. Because the truth is, the song of the universe is actually polyrhythmic. Nature has many rhythms, but they are all in harmony with each other. And the key mathematical factor in all of them is 13. 13 is the key which unlocks the wisdom of natural time. So let's tune into the beat of nature. Let's all dance to nature's drum. Let's align our consciousness and our lives with the harmonic rhythms of nature. Let us immerse ourselves in now-centered radial harmonic galactic time, because it is time for our collective experience on Earth to be one of beauty and enjoyment. And the power of 13, it has been hidden from us because it represents and embodies the feminine creative principle in all of nature. And yes, it's magic. And it has the power to re-enchant the world. And it's not just a 13-month cycle, it's a 13-day cycle and a 13-year cycle and many, many other interweaving cycles, all calibrated by the power of 13. And you can bring that power of 13 into your life and experience the magic for yourself. And actually, that's the only way you're really going to understand what I'm talking about, is you have to live the magic for yourself. You see, the 12-month calendar, it's like a record being played over and over again, delivering the same program year after year. But 13 is the spiral, So as we complete these cycles and spiral into new cycles, we're actually moving somewhere. We're actually ascending into our true cosmic nature. There's evolution in our passage of time. So again, the invitation is to come to our website, 13moon.com, and explore the power of 13 for yourself. You might feel moved to get a calendar. We make beautiful art calendars that you can hang on your wall and begin to resonate with these harmonic frequencies of time that will elevate your journey of time, elevate your journey of life into the cosmic, higher dimensional experience that you came to Earth to have. Come join us in that magic.
Wash your time more, settles on score. Mathematic lore to a heart that's sore. Pump fists of fate, spread love, no hate. Stepping in a dimension. Remember to aspire ascension. Cosmo God flies with wings of heaven. Honor and love thyself. Mental, physical, spiritual health equals unlimitless wealth. Release the identity. Fill up all the wheat. Grandmas and grandpas, I love my mama. Trill all the trauma. Heal the past karma. Pranayana mama. Opening all chakras while I'm sipping on kombucha. Dreaming of the future. African. Breeze to achieve mental relaxation. All one people, all one nation. Prison pyramids sold to you at all bids and costs. Remember who's the boss, or for sure you'll be lost and caught. For sure you'll be lost and caught. In a cobweb in some trees, praise scarab and honeybee. Sweet nectar of honey drips when I rip the MIC. See. My molecular DNA's transformed together to band. My heart is pumping out. Let me go inside so I can show you all out there what I'm all about. 'Cause it's not what's exterior. Interiorly, we are all stars.
are Katie Mejia and Joel Mejia, musicians, filmmakers, and creators of the Time is Art documentary series.
Thank you for joining us, and we want to take this time to give a special shout out to Unify and the Harmonic Convergence 2020 for their support and this event, The Day Out of Time, deep dive into natural time.
So in 2015, we released a documentary film called Time is Art, Synchronicity and the Collective Dream, and it was inspired by Jose Arguelles and a trip I took to Palenque in 2012. The film is about healing through the artist's journey, and you can watch it on Amazon in the US and UK only, or Vimeo for the rest of the world.
So the second film, Time is Art, The Frequency of Love, features cosmic rapper and lyricist Homeboy Rome, who continues to explore these concepts such as healing and experiencing natural time through music, which is what this presentation is all about. And we know music and sound can take us out of artificial time and into a world where you forget time and are more open to receiving transmission from these higher forces.
Yeah, so now we'd like to share this webisode. It's from an ongoing series we called Sync Stories, because it's one of the most popular ones on YouTube. There's always comments and different things that people are saying, feedback. We feel it's something that's really resonated, so we'd like to share it with you. It's actually about how we met Homeboy Rome, how we got together to create music, and to start on the second documentary film with him. I hope you enjoy.
Hey, I'm Rome, and this is my sync story. So it actually started with a number, the number 47. And this is actually like the quintessential number of the universe. So this number came to me, the perfect random number, through a friend, one of my homies, Jamal, and he would actually see this number everywhere. And for him it symbolized synchronicity, and it had a whole higher meaning. So once we became aware of it, we would just see it everywhere. And it became more and more meaningful and started to connect. And so after following this and becoming more aware of this, I came across the law of time, which is a whole new cosmology and knowledge base, and it has everything to do with synchronicity. So after synchronizing with this, a whole new world opened up to me, and I felt like we have to make a documentary about the way that we live, me and my homies. So we had the idea to film a documentary over the course of 47 days, and we would use the law of time as like an underlying theme for it, because each day has a different energy. So I had this idea, this whole vision, and it like really resonated in me, but we didn't really have the means to create this at the time. So I kind of like had the vision and just put it out there, hoping that it would one day manifest somehow, knowing that it would really. And it must have been like a few moons later that I came across a film screening, and the film was Time is Art. And it really stood out to me because the law of time is all about time is art, because that's all we have, time. So our time is actually art, it's not money. So once I found out about this film, I had to go, like I had to be there, I knew it. So me and two homies went to see this film. We eventually figured that we were there to meet the filmmakers of this film, and that's what it was. So once we met these filmmakers, we realized that was our purpose for being there, and that we were meant to introduce everyone else to what we had discovered. Less than a year after meeting these filmmakers, I find myself as kind of like part of their family, and they actually decide to use me for the sequel of their film to go even more in depth to this time is art and this idea of synchronicity. So now we're working on the sequel, and it'll be featuring me as the narrator and the main subject, and I'm just like, wait, this is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly the vision that I had, and it just through synchronicity manifested. So that's my sync story.
Finally, we'd like to share a short promotional clip for the second Time is Art film, The Frequency of Love, which is the new documentary coming, hopefully, 11/11/2020, which is Blue Lunar Storm. Hope you enjoy.
And also don't forget to go to thesyncmovie.com and support the upcoming film through like a t-shirt or sharing with others on the internet. Follow us on IG, The Sync Movie.
So you know about this? Right now we live in artificial time. It's disconnected from nature. That creates disharmony in our lives.
You are part of who I am, giving you a part of who I am.
Well, I'm actually a sound healer for about 2 years.
Whatever you do, know the universe is speaking to you, and whatever you seeking is seeking you too.
It's magic. To me, this is magic. Yeah.
The secret is hidden so deeply in the core of the ever-present. Some would call it the future. Most don't remember the future.
So hello, everyone. Welcome back to this day out of time on this magnetic mirror day, King 118. We are now with a dear friend of mine, true brother. We met 5 years ago during the celebration of Day Out of Time on the day Red Solar Skywalker, which is my king. So I want to give the welcome to Richard Seraphim Arkis, creator of Space Station Plaza. Thank you for being here with us today. What are you doing, brother?
Oh, doing fine. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So this day out of time is special because it's the year 2020. We are having like a different reality showing up on the planet. So we want to understand how did you arrive to this information, and how do you think that is going to help humanity in the future? So let's start this conversation by understanding what inspired you to connect with the new time, and how is your story of creation of Space Station Plaza?
Yes. Well, my story actually starts at the Harmonic Convergence in 1987. I was fortunate enough to have a friend whose New Age mom. She told us about Harmonic Convergence, and she was real excited. She said people were meditating all over the world, and we were getting ready to go camping. So she said, when you go up to camping, make sure you guys do some prayers and meditation for world peace, because it's a big deal. So we went up to the mountain, and we had amazing conversations. There was other people up there. It was like kind of a really cool spot. And I remember that being a real magical night of deep conversations. And, so then fast forward 10 years later, I was in 97, I was at the Jungle House, they called it, in San Diego. And I was in this like pyramid made out of copper, and it was a big giant pyramid. You can sit in there and meditate. And I'm sitting in there, and this guy named Oneness comes through. And he saw me and he says, do you know your galactic signature? And I was like, no, I don't know what that is. And he said, so he took his backpack off and he took out the dream spell, and he starts turning the wheel, asking me for my birthday, because I'm going to decode you. And I'm like, wow, okay. So he decoded me, and he said, you're a white wizard. And he didn't tell me the tone at the time. He just said, you're a white wizard, I believe. And so then he had to go, because everybody was like, they had the car running, and he's like, gotta go. And I said, what does it mean? And he just said, it's your ticket on the mothership. When the space brothers come, you need to know your galactic signature. And I was just like, wow, and that's all it was. And the next thing you know, he's gone. So all I knew was it was this galactic, thing, this, it looked like a board game. And I was a wizard on this system that was something to do with, extraterrestrials. And so for a whole year, that's all I knew. I was a wizard on this galactic thing, board game, And it was a year later that I met somebody who I saw the dream spell, and I said, oh, wow, tell me more about that. I'm a wizard on that. And so then he decoded me, told me I was spectral wizard. And it was really interesting. Just getting the download on that. And then after not too long after that, I met a guy, Jason, who told me about Eden Sky and this whole crystal meetings that was going on in Portland. So we went on this journey from Arizona to Portland. And when we got to Portland, I met Eden Sky and all the kin there, and that was just mind blowing, because they were doing these crystal meetings, and it seemed like everybody there was really embodying their galactic signature. I mean, I remember the Cosmic Monkey. He was just hilarious. Like, the guy was just animated, funny, and just everybody just had they were really playing the part of their signs. It was really inspiring. And one of the things that she said to me, or said to all of us in the meeting, was that all the music of the history, like from the 60s and the 70s and all the music, is encoded with the energies of the day. So like the energy of the people playing the music, and the energy of the day that the music was played, and all that. It was encoded. All the codes, the 1320 codes, were in the music. And that really stuck with me, So then after that, I left there, and I started traveling down through California, and I got to Santa Cruz, and I met this brother. His name was River, and he was like a black hippie, Hendrixian kind of person, and he was into the calendar too. So he saw I had a calendar, but my calendar didn't have a decoder, the old ones. So I had to get a decoder. He said, you don't have a decoder? He goes, and he showed me his decoder, and he goes, I'm going to go make you a copy. And he went and literally color copied and laminated it for me. And he came back and gave me my decoder. And the first thing I did was, like I said, I got to decode Jimi Hendrix. So we decoded Jimi Hendrix, and it said Solar Skywalker. And it was in the portal tunnel, and just the space, the exploration, and all, like, just the meaning of it just really stuck with us. Like, we struck us. We were both just like, that fits so well. Like, man. So that really started me on a journey of decoding anybody within 3 feet of me. For one, anybody came within 3 feet, I would be like, what's your birthday? So that, and then I was calling my family, sometimes collect, and I was just like, what's your birthday? And I just wanted to know all my family and all my friends. So I was calling my friends back home and getting their birthday, and I had a list. And then when I got to San Diego, where my mom was living, I I went to the library and got a birthday book. It was a famous birthday book, and I just sat there and decoded all the musicians and actors and inventors, just anybody that popped in my head. I was just looking through the list, and I want to know what that person is. So I decoded, when I saw Einstein was a cosmic, sun, it was like, wow, that made sense. And then just kept going on down that rabbit hole of decoding famous people. To the point where I was obsessed. They were in my dreams, famous people coming in my dreams, it's like I had to stop at one point. I decoded tabloids. I got a tabloid and I would decode that, and that was mind blowing to see all these stories. And so then when I went back to New York in '99, I shared the calendar with my friends, and it was really interesting. I started doing crystal meetings with all my friends back home. So, and that was really an eye opener, because there was a lot of controversy at the time too, with people were questioning the whole dream spell movement because it was based on Mayan, and which is interesting because not knowing for a year that it was even Mayan really gave me a more of a galactic perspective of the calendar. Like I didn't know it was based on Mayan cosmology or anything for a whole year. But I also really believed in UFOs and all the hidden technologies and things for my whole life, because both my grandfathers were UFO believers, and one of my grandfathers saw a UFO. So I was really, the galactic culture. I mean, again, Eden Sky was the first person I heard say the word galactic culture, and it's like, wow, that really struck me as like something that we're going to experience, like a real galactic culture where we have full disclosure of the hidden technologies and all the UFO and existing extraterrestrials existing among us. And so back to the back home, I was doing the crystal meetings, and we would do them at this place called One Station Plaza. And One Station Plaza was a music venue where it was started by a guy, Sonny Chirac, he's a monkey, rhythmic monkey, and he had passed away the same year that this place, One Station Plaza, was created. It was created in 1994. So it was a non-alcoholic music venue. And to make a long story short, it was going through some problems in 2000, 99, 2000. So in 2000, the place almost closed down, and then they decided to reopen, and thank goodness, because we had a meeting about it. And in the meeting, I said, maybe we could change the name to Space Station Plaza. I said something like that. And they were like, wow, that's a great idea, but I think we're going to keep the name. But so I said, well, can I do an event, called Space Station Plaza, like a galactic event? And so we did. So they said, yeah, that'd be great. So the place, we had redone the whole place, and I was promoting this event, called Space Station Plaza, the music of the future. And it was on the rhythmic dog in the portal tunnel, which we're in, and which was yesterday. Yeah. So yesterday, actually, it's interesting. Yesterday was the day that we did our first event in New York in 2000, Space Station Plaza. And so from there, I knew like it was my life mission. Literally, like while that was all happening, I was telling my friends, this is my life mission, to do the Space Station Plaza. And it has to do with decoding the famous people and doing music events, and we had invited all these people, like different people, to do the music. And it was like an experimental music exploration is really what it was. And probably one of the best musical experiences of my life was that event, first event. Um, and basically after that, I went on a decoding, you know, I just kept decoding famous people, and you
And
know, it was
when
like,
it bec when did you start to work on the actual platform? When did
so
the
yeah,
Space Station Plaza got incepted into the cybersphere?
yeah, so that took 9 years. So 9 years
Okay.
of decoding famous people by hand, and just knowing that there was a way to access the Wikipedia lists and all that, and with a database. And then I knew that there would be a programmer. I had to meet somebody who could take a database of massive list, and then we had to build a decoder, and then turn it into a website with this decoded. So I finally met Tony Fogelman. He's a Tony Ray, and he's a solar storm in the core.
Yeah.
And I told him about the vision, and he said, I could do that. I said, really? Because most of the programmers I met were more designers, and a lot of people who I met before that said you needed somebody who knows database and, you know, can really build this, you know, from scratch, you know.
At any
And
time you can share your screen if you want to show us
oh yeah, so that's right. Yeah, you do that. So basically, yeah, we finally made the let me see, here's the Space Station Plaza. And we actually I conceived it in 2000, but it took 9 years to actually produce the website, you know, with Tony. And the day that we actually launched the website was a resonant mirror. And then I found out later when I was reading about Jose creating the law of time. The law of time was created on resonant mirror. And we were blown away by that because we didn't plan. That was the day that we launched the website. We actually waited a day or two because I wanted to do it on my son's birthday. I remember that his birthday was June 10th. So June 10th on 2009 was the date. So I said, let me wait a couple days. So we were still working on some stuff. So we launched it on the resonant. So I thought that was an interesting synchronicity for us that Law of Time was launched on the same day.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. And at the time I was reading the Book of Mystery a lot because Jose talked a lot about famous people and Pink Floyd and all. It was really a cool book, dealing with historical, you know, figures and all that. So basically, where Space Station Plaza is at now is one of the things I've been working on over the last year was creating these playlists. So if you see right there, there's the Joe Walsh, Life of Illusion is the first song on that playlist. And he's a resonant monkey. So it really fit, you know, a lot of times the songs, you'll find songs about dreams with you know, the Blue Night and stuff. You'll see a lot of that. And just, it seemed like, you know, the people who, like there's death, like the sky, I mean, well, Skywalker too is a support, but the World Bridger, World Bridger, there's a lot of World Bridgers that have songs about death that are really deep. So that has been interesting. So a lot of the synchronicities just have been mind-blowing over the last 20 years of working on this.
Yeah, can we see what is the playlist for White Magnetic Mirror?
What's that?
Can we see the playlist? What is for White Magnetic Mirror?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So let me go here. So we have the calendar, and then let me see. So there's
So do you want to?
Let me go here. So then we have so we have Styx, the group Styx.
Okay.
So one of the members is from that group. So yeah, you have Pharoah Sanders, Ernie Isley, Kurt Cobain, Ian McDonald. Yeah, there's just a huge list. Some days are really chock full of amazing, kin. So I just made this list here. As you can see, it's just all these amazing artists.
This playlist is something that you have been working for the last year or so.
Yeah, about the last year. A lot of these were 260 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
The last spin was when I started it, like a little over the last spin. So a lot of these playlists I've worked on 9 months ago, 260 days ago. So I was working on them pretty much on the day, or before the day came, and they're a work in progress. So a lot of the playlists, they're going to grow, and there's a lot of new artists I need to put in there, and we haven't updated I've been updating the list of famous kin by hand for the last 9 years. So we still have to do a refresh of decoding the list and adding, programmatically with so that's, but right now I've done it by hand for the last 9 years. I've been just kind of adding to it over the last. So the playlist actually is something that I conceived way back before I even had a website. I imagined some kind of playlist or radio station is kind of how I envisioned it, which I feel like is kind of where it's going. Is it going to be a radio station where you basically have this playlist, but you also have other programs and things. So that's kind of something that I'm working towards, is having a perpetual playlist, 260 days of music history, past, present, and future. So it's what's really interesting is the playlist is very diverse. So the playlist will go from one genre to another, and it'll just be like, and I listen to it, mostly I listen to it every day and a little bit here and there, and it's just really cool to go from like one genre to another. I thought it was going to be weird, and it is sometimes a little jarring to go from one something real mellow to something really intense, but it's been really fun to know that, okay, this music you're listening to, it has the codes of that day, like either the group energy of the day. Like right now, today, Run DMC is the group energy. So if you go here, you have Run DMC is the 3 members. So there's the timeline. There's always been the 3 members. So that's what they are, a blue resonant monkey. Now, some of the bands that change timelines will, let's see, what's a good one, like Eagles or something.
And this connection between music and the calendar and creating community online through Space Station Plaza, how is it evolving right now? Where do you see Space Station Plaza in the future, now that the 20 years is the span of one generation? We are the year 2020, so we are this is the first generation of the 3rd millennium, and you as a father who is also has kids on that range, how do you see these tools of galactic culture helping us to bring a new paradigm and a new vision for the future? So because we want to close this conversation with that dream or that vision of the future that will create the life that we want for the next 7 generations. So how do you see this tool of Space Station Plaza evolving, growing, and being part of a different story for the planet?
Yeah, well, I believe very much since I was really introduced to this, especially when I was in Portland with Eden Sky and all them, like I really believed that this was important, like to change the calendar, um, to use a calendar like this, I think would really transform society. Like the more people and the more people using a calendar like this, and if it was became like an actual official calendar, um, that would make a big difference in our society because we would be living in a harmonic time. So I've always held that belief, and I believe that with Space Station Plaza, the work that we're doing with it, I think kind of bridging the gap between like the famous people and historical, and then we have members that are on there, and kind of like seeing how you relate with historical figures and events and things, and seeing the synchronicities can help people, and like I said before, having a radio station, kind of perpetual radio station, and also having more interactivity with users and like a social media platform is something that we've strived for, but we also have realized that that's a big undertaking.
Yes.
So we've kind of held back on really pushing for that right away, like all these years, because we know that that's a big undertaking. But we do have a vision for having an interactive website, like an aggregate of social media, because there's so much social media platforms, and Space Station Plaza is like a meeting place. It's like those words, Space Station Plaza, plaza being a meeting place. So it's kind of like, everyone will have, their own page with all their social media platforms and interactivities and things like that. But so I see having a radio show with different programs and things is something that we're moving towards with Space Station Plaza. And but I really do believe that we're moving towards a galactic culture, and a lot of the hidden technologies that can save the planet. We have everything that we need as humanity to change the world for the better, and solve all the problems of hunger and war and all these things. And I think it's all right there. We have it. It's just been hidden and suppressed. And I really believe that we're going to experience full disclosure of all that technologies and the extraterrestrials and all that. And I think that the law of time and this whole calendar movement, and then Space Station Plaza, I think that we're all working together. And I think this is beautiful that we've all came together like this for the day at a time. And I'm just honored to be a part of this. And I really thank you, my brother, for having me here and doing this work together.
Yeah, thank you so much, Serifa, for planting the seeds of galactic culture in the cybersphere, and for your love for this and passion for this knowledge, and as a wide spectral wizard, bringing the timelessness to this time of upheaval, and bringing new tools and new ways for people to connect. I really recommend to everyone to, if you are watching this and you don't know your galactic signature, go to Space Station Plaza. There is a decoder, and below that there is a reading button, and in the reading you can learn a lot about your archetype and your galactic signature. So thank you, Serifa, for the work you have been doing, and I really hope that this is the beginning of more celebrations of Day Out of Time, co-creating spaces. 5 years ago, we were co-creating like a physical space, and we were doing this work together. And now, 5 years later, we are here continuing the work, but on the internet and under the current conditions. So thank you so much for being available, for having this conversation. And I hope to see you again in the near future, my brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
In Lakesh.
This is my prayer for me and you, that will help us in the confusion. This is my prayer from earth to sky, that will help us to live better lives. I'm crying out that every home has what it needs for the people living in the streets, for those who suffer from illness, for those who live in loneliness, for the people that of hunger are dying, asking for taking away the meat from our diet. I'm praying to pacify and disarm, asking that our planet survives. This is my prayer for me and you, that will help us in the confusion. This is my prayer from earth to sky, that will help us to live better lives. I'm crying out for the souls that by war were affected, for the mothers' blood, for their children suffer, one for the oil and blood spill. I pray to the sky so the lands don't bleed, one so that humans may enjoy the love and be free from the struggle and labor. A prayer for the beings in captivity, so they may recover their free will and their dignity. One for learning to stop her being. A prayer so that money cannot buy integrity. I pray that our children may be happy, that with ability we may overcome our challenges. One so ego can damage our reality.